Hi there, it's Gula from Gula Tech Adventures. Today we're going to explain how you can use zero trust concepts to protect your network. Now, zero trust is the process of minimizing the attack surface, trying to prevent ways for attackers to break into your network, and then once in, worming their way through the network to get to applications and sensitive data. Now, you might think we're going to start by talking about how to lock down computers and laptops and servers and cloud service. But the reality, the key to understanding zero trust is identifying where your employees are allowed to go. So if you have an employee, the question is, what is each employee authorized to access? If you don't have this written down somewhere, you're going to be building a castle on sandy shores, right? So when does this start? When you have a new employee, who decides where they get to go and what they get to do once they get there? Is it human resources? Is it somebody in IT? And what happens when these employees move around? Now, we haven't even started talking about the technology yet. It's just the basic policy of which employees are allowed to go to which applications and work with certain types of data. Once you get this down, it becomes very easy to then build and secure your network. So the second question is, for each of these employees, how do they want to authenticate to these applications, whether they're on-prem or legacy or in the cloud? How do you want to authenticate to them? Do you want passwords? Do you want two-factor authentication? Do you want this information centralized? Depending on the complexity and sensitivity of your organization, there's different reasons why you might want to do each of these techniques. And finally, when an employee logs in, how much do we care about the device that they're coming from, the network that they're coming from, even the geography of where they're coming from? Do we want to inspect that traffic before it gets to these applications? Do we even want to encrypt it? These are all opportunities for organizations to further secure their employees and further attest that when an employee logs on to do the job that they've been asked to do, that it's just them and not a hacker. Now, of course, once an employee gets into the application, we want to ensure that they only have the least privilege that they need to do their job. For example, if you're an administrator, that's great. You probably have all of the different powers of creating users, moving data around, making back-end changes to the cloud. But an entry-level person who's just reading email shouldn't need that. An entry-level person who's just perhaps doing manual database entry shouldn't need those rights. Rights management, understanding least privilege is one of the hardest things to get done right in the network. But when you look at all these together, this is basically zero trust. It's also basic security engineering. If you look back at the last 20, 25 years of how to secure your network, most systems I talk to say, hey, I've been doing these all the time. And when you look at what's out there, it's worth noting that there are legacy VPNs. If you're using that, it's not necessarily secure. New technology allows people to get to where they're going by pivoting through the cloud and not talking to a device that's basically present on the internet. A lot of organizations believe that two-factor authentication into their applications is all they need. Well, they're completely missing out on looking at their profile or the endpoints, where those users are coming. Like I said before, a lot of people think the cloud is secure. The cloud's a destination, and they think the cloud is secure. They need to look at the configuration of the cloud and lock those things down. And the last things I'm going to talk about is that if you think just taking a zero trust product and deploying it on your network without any of these considerations makes you more secure, once again, you're just going to recreate a lot of different illusions of security. So you have to go through this process of understanding which users are allowed to get to which applications and how you want to authenticate to them. And you can do this without products. You can do this with just good network engineering. You can also use this with great products that allow you to do a variety of cryptographic controls, making users' lives a lot easier when they get into these applications, depending on what they're going to do. I hope this was of interest to you. If you want to see more videos like this, visit Gula Tech Adventures. We've got a whole series of video blogs and blog entries on a wide variety of cybersecurity topics. Thanks for watching.